back to another edition of GrandOldTeam TV. This is the fan reaction video to the first game of the season. Everton won, Tottenham Hotspur won yesterday. Before we get the thoughts and opinions of other Evertonians over at GrandOldTeam.com forum, let's talk a little bit about the game yesterday, shall we? Just touch on it a little bit because I do think there are some things that we need to say. We all went into this, myself included, a little bit apprehensive, a little bit concerned about what was going to happen. Obviously, we'd had the manager's thoughts and opinions on Friday in that press conference thingy-majig that they always have to do, which they blatantly don't want to do, but they have to, managers. And he was honest with us, and I really appreciate, and I'm quite enjoying this honesty from Ronald Koeman, to be honest with you. I mean, I think we've all been so used to being told what the manager thinks we want to hear over the last few seasons. But now we've got a manager who just says it like it is. It's quite nice, really. It is quite refreshing. So Koeman had come out and said, look, the side's not ready, not fit enough, 60-70% fitness levels, it's not good enough. And he was a bit concerned, and that obviously made us a little bit concerned. And we've been emotionally scarred because we've been beaten for the last 2 years. To expect that anything with regards to Everton is going to go terribly wrong. So we're all concerned. Then we had to play Tottenham Hotspur on the first game of the season, a side that finished second last year, that could have and should have won the league last year. So this is all building up. Missing Lukaku, we haven't made the additions that we thought that we wanted Everton to make by this point. So everyone's a little bit concerned going into this game. However, the work rate was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed watching them yesterday. First off, Everton could have been like 5 or 6-0 up. That's an exaggeration, maybe 1 or 2, well, 2-0. They should have gone in at 2-0 anyway. And then in the second half, at about 65 minutes, obviously the tempo started to slow. The players got tired. We brought on Aruna Kone. And and then things went slightly downhill. However, the lads dug in and managed to hold out for a point, and that was pretty good. There were some really positive individual performances. Idrissa Gueye was just terrific. He made me tired watching him yesterday. He just doesn't stop running. I had to have a kip after the game, so I was just shattered watching him running around in them wicked black boots that he's got on, by the way, which everybody loves and I love as well, that he wears just black boots. There's a lot to be said about that in the modern game. Stekelenburg in goal. How was that lad at Fulham last season? No idea, but he pulled off some world-class saves. And then the backline, who I thought were all pretty good yesterday. See, the goal was a little bit unfortunate. People blaming the young lad Holgate for that, although I wouldn't, because I think it was his Premier League debut. He did really well. People saying Gareth Barry should have potentially tracked the runner. Leighton Baines should have got a cross to block the cross. However, I think defensively, again, a lot more positive, a lot more steady. So what have other Evertonians been saying over at GrandOldTeam's forum? Let's find out, shall we? Mikey Fitzgerald, says, if you'd have offered me 1-1 before kickoff, I would have taken it. We'd have probably lost that game last season. That's true. In fact, we would have lost that game last season, given how soft Martinez's sides were. If we were in that position at 70, 75 minutes, whenever it was that they scored, Everton would have gone on to lose that game. I've got absolutely no doubt about that last season, but we didn't, so that's a positive. It'll be a bit of a slog, Mikey goes on to say, while Koeman gets the fitness where it needs to be, but it could have been a lot worse today. It's a result that we can build on. Blue Toff says, genuinely delighted with that. The first half was superb, but ultimately we just didn't have the quality when it counted, with Deulofeu's poor finishing. It'll come though, as will the fitness. Koeman really is starting from less than zero base, and you can tell just how much Martinez's complete disregard for fitness set us back. Well played, lads. Zandvert Blue, don't know if I pronounced that right. Happy with that. I'd have taken 1-1 before kickoff. Positives, the crowd were back up for it and the players were responding. Jags had Kane in his pocket until the sub. Baines back on song. An actual goalie between the sticks. Guy is a snip at that price, and then he goes on to say, pure class and my man of the match. Seiji EFC says, even after about 6 weeks of working with the defence, it looks a million times better already. Bit more fitness work and a few new attacking signings and will be looking sound. And Connor finishes off with a pretty good comment. He says, no better place to be than Goodison in the sun. Can't be beaten. Here's to a bloody good season. I agree with you there, Connor. There is no better place to be than Goodison Park on a Saturday afternoon in the sunshine. Would have been nice if Everton would have managed to hold out for all 3 points. Some would argue that they deserved all 3 points, especially on the first half performance, but it wasn't to be. But pretty decent stuff now. There is a bit of news knocking around today. It's getting louder and louder that Yannick Bolasie is going to sign for Everton. I realise now that if he doesn't sign for Everton, then this video is going to look really silly. But we are told that we're due to expect that maybe today or tomorrow. So expect a video on Bolasie signing for Everton sooner rather than later. Put my neck on the line with this one, haven't I? And in the meantime, get over to GrandOldTeam.com's forum and give your thoughts and opinions on there. And remember to like, subscribe. What am I saying? Having a nightmare today. Maybe drank a little bit too much last night. Remember to like, share and subscribe these videos, and I will see you very soon.